All right. Welcome everybody to Roaring 20s Podcast, episode 1. We have our 3 hosts here. We have CJ Martindale, that's me, Bradley Baker to my left, and Colton Bachman straight across from me.
What's up, guys?
So we're here basically to bring you guys good talks, good times, and mainly personal growth and development. You guys are definitely probably wondering why 3 20-year-olds are able to bring this to you. And don't worry, we've asked ourselves that quite a bit.
Multiple times, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely
a lot. But, one day we just said, let's do a podcast because we definitely do have the tools to help you guys. So we'll get to that into more detail a little bit later. So with that being said, we'll do some quick little intros right now. I'll start. So I'm CJ Martindale. I am the youngest of the 3 here. Born and raised on a farm here in Fort Collins, Colorado. And basically slaved away the majority of my adolescence, working 16 hours a day on a farm, 100-degree weather.
It's tough. Some child labor or what?
Yeah. $25 a day, so technically not.
Damn.
Yeah. It's better than zero, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, helped me with a lot of stuff, and I'm grateful for it. But after all that hard work, I decided, I was not trying to follow the generational farming, so I left to go into business side of things. And started working as a marketer at this company, 4 years ago when I was 16. And since then, I've just climbed up the ladder, learned a whole lot about marketing, and now I'm actually the marketing manager of Foothills Painting. It's the fastest growing LLC in the nation, and definitely biggest painting company in Northern Colorado. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me, and I'll pass it over to Bradley Baker.
Awesome. Well, yeah, like you said, I'm Brad. It's nice to meet everybody. I grew up in Palisade, Colorado, where the peaches are,
Big peach guy.
Yeah, big peach guy. Love peaches. And it was a small town. Grew up on like a little farm, kind of, about 8 acres. And, just had big dreams for a small town. Went and played college basketball for a year. Basketball was like my passion, just kind of like business was yours.
Yeah.
And then, you get to the bigger level and you start realizing, when you're 6'1", that, guys are taller than you.
Yeah, you're a midget when you're 6'1", playing basketball. Yeah.
You're a small guy. So started there, then moved up to Fort Collins, started working at Foothills as well with CJ. And that's actually where we all met each other. And, just the company's brought some things to our lives that we'd like to share with people. And, we're just all really passionate about personal development and, just getting some things out there for people our age. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah, Colton.
Yeah, my name's Colton Bachman. I'm 21 years old. Grew up in Longmont, Colorado, which is about 30 minutes south of Fort Collins. Growing up, like my first passion was definitely basketball, like Brad here. That's what I did every day from sunrise to sunset as a kid.
Didn't you guys play each other at one point?
Yeah, we did play each other in high school. I went to Longmont High, and Brad went to Palisade High. We did play each other first round of the playoffs.
It didn't go very well for us, let's just say that.
It was a good time, but it's a small world. Who knew that I was gonna be working here with Brad after that whole thing. So it's kind of crazy. So after basketball kind of faded out for me, my next kind of interest was photography and videography, and that's just a really big passion for me. I kind of turned that into a business. Free Motion Media is a business I started with that, so I kind of went down that path. Really love it. And then, 4 months ago, I applied for a job here at Foothills. Thankfully got the job, and that's how I met, CJ and Brad. And that's, kind of how this story began. And yeah, we're just here to build something special. Like Brad kind of said, we want to be able to relate to people our age about a lot of like personal growth and development stuff, because there's definitely a hole there where people just don't talk about it our age.
It's gonna be the future for sure. Like that's definitely, the next 10 years I can see that people are getting more in tune with that,
Absolutely.
just everything with personal development, and just the mental game is really stepping up big in the culture today. So
Yeah, just pretty much everybody in general. We're also not just going for the younger demographic. Like, yeah, we definitely want to help provide tools for the younger demographic because, millennials and Generation Z are slept on. Like, let's be real, most people don't think that they're like hard workers, that they're go-getters, or, whatever you call it. But, they are. And we're helping them with the tools, but also just anybody who just needs guidance. Anybody who doesn't have like a North Star, nothing to just have like a guiding light. So we're just kind of giving you guys the tools, some personal growth and development we've learned from, the owners of National Painting Group, and just people who have taught us over the past, or me myself for the past 4 years, and these guys for the past year, just how to grow and train yourself and become just a better human being overall.
Yeah. And then something I think is kind of important to, kind of touch base with. So, we are like, it's a painting company here, but it's so much more than that. And I know CJ can speak on that a little bit more than I can, because he's been here for 4.5 years. I've been here for 4 months. Brad's been here for about a year. So
yeah,
CJ definitely has, stronger roots here than us. But being here 4 months, like I've learned way more about just life stuff, personal growth and development stuff, daily things that I need, more than I've learned about paint. Yeah. Like, it's not, I don't even think about this company as a painting company at all, to be honest.
No, it's not.
And
it's
like,
a
that's the
people
crazy
company
thing.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's something that like you almost have to be a part of to really understand what we're saying. But yeah, it's definitely a crazy thing. And CJ,
I mean, yeah, I can touch on a little bit more. And basically what we say is like painting, I mean, it works, right? Like, it works. It's our vehicle to get us to somewhere bigger.
Right.
And our bigger is personal growth and personal development and like changing the world. I don't know if you guys know a lot about the trades industry, but when it comes to like, just trades in general, it's usually thought of as just a very bad niche to be in. Most people are thought of to be like scummy or untrustworthy, whatever you want to call it. But the reason why we're the fastest growing LLC in the nation and why we double in size every year is because these tools that we're given. I don't think 3 kids at like an average company in general would just start a podcast, and we're just going to start this because the people who've taught us, how to make this is like, that's why.
Yeah. And yeah. And like, the reason we're doing this is for like, we just want to do this. Like, this is something that we want to do.
Yeah. It's fun for us. Like, I mean, we have good conversations all the time.
Yeah.
And, people like listen in on us a lot. And so it's like,
right.
Why can't everybody just listen in on our talks,
Yeah.
bring that to the world. And yeah, we're just, we're excited because it's definitely a step, and it's a step in the right direction for us because, we're learning throughout this whole process too. And I think that's what we've talked about a lot is just,
definitely.
Like, this is going to be like a family. This is going to be like everybody's helping each other out,
Yeah, just a tight-knit family.
Yeah. And, we want to make a living, hopefully one day. Like, that's definitely a goal for us with this. We want to be able to, make some money, but if it doesn't make money, then that's all right. Like, we just really want to do this because it's something that all 3 of us are extremely passionate about.
Yeah,
just to get real with you guys, like, I'm doing it because like it's amazing for mental health. There's studies, neuroscience tells us that if you have like a podcast, it's just incredibly good for mental health. Yeah. And because we have just some good conversations and we do have some good tools and good life lessons, even though we are only 20, but our experience, as you guys will find out, will definitely speak for itself.
Yeah.
And by no means are we saying like we know it all or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, we're speaking from our experiences and things that people that have been doing this a lot longer than us have taught us.
Yeah.
So we just kind of want to bring that to a bigger audience, I guess, because we've seen how it can impact our own lives and like, it really is. It's pretty crazy. It's amazing stuff for sure. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we're just standing on like the shoulders of giants right now at this point. I mean,
yeah,
we're working next to people. I'm not going to get into specific details, but people who are all owning multi-million-dollar national companies. And through the past 4 years, I've been able to stand on their shoulders, and they're giants at this point. I mean, someone who can just take a company and incubate it, no matter what the company is, and just grow it to a multi-million-dollar company within a year. I mean,
It's incredible.
yeah.
that's incredible.
It's crazy stuff.
So, we're just standing on their shoulders, and they teach us a lot about personal growth and development, because we're not just in it for the money. Sure, like, money will come. In life, you need money, let's be
Yeah,
real.
right,
You
yeah,
need
yeah.
money.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But that should not be like your end all be all. I mean, money will get you as far as it'll get you, and that's it. Like, once it gets you there, if your goal is to get 6 figures or 7 figures, whatever it is, once you get there, that's as far as you'll go, But if you have something bigger after that, and you have just like some sense of direction, and you kind of have a feeling as to you want to provide for like the human race or whatever your guiding light is, I don't know. But if there's something bigger than just money, it'll get you 10 times further than I want to make 6 figures this year.
Right, and I when we talk about that, I kind of think about Gary Vee. He said multiple times, he's like, I know multimillionaires that are absolutely miserable with their lives.
Yeah.
But I know people that make $80K a year,
Yeah,
and they're the happiest people on the face of the earth.
that's
Like,
what they say. They
Yeah.
say after 75K, 75K is like the max you need to make to be as happy as you can be.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just, I mean, they're like
I mean,
CJ said.
and on the other end though, you got it. There is some happy rich people out
Oh,
there.
for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Riding on
And-
jet skis, having
And
a
Absolutely,
great
that's,
time.
yeah.
that's what the
Don't
kind
get
of
me
rich
wrong,
people
yeah.
we want to be.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to help
Yeah.
everybody with.
But I think all those people that do have a lot of money and are riding on jet skis,
Yeah.
they didn't do it for the money. They had a bigger reason behind it all,
Yeah, for sure.
and they're in tune with their why daily. So
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if not, like, what is it? It's just paper at that point. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
if you can't build something that you're proud of or your why, we'll kind of get into that next week. But, like, if your why isn't something else besides money, you're going to have a hard time, being happy,
Yeah.
feeling that void in you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you get to a point, once you reach a certain amount of money where you're just like, what am I doing this for? No amount of money can fill like a void
Yeah.
of whatever it is. After 75K, studies show that, that's the most you have to make. And, like at that point, you're just having like a bigger house, nicer cars. And sure, those things will provide some amount of excitement and release some endorphins. But, once those are gone, you just have a car.
Yeah.
You just have a house.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. So, we're trying to get to the point where, we have all those things. We're teaching you guys how to get all those things, but also just like, living an amazing, extraordinary life because you say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not because fucking the money says so, but because you say so.
Yeah.
And on the other end of the spectrum, you don't need to have a lot of money to have a good life.
Yeah. No. for
It-
sure,
I mean,
they don't.
there's people that are making 30, 40K a year, and there's nothing wrong with that because they're living an amazing life.
Yep.
They just have a good sense of direction. They just know exactly what they want, and they know what they're doing it for.
Yep.
And, that's just, that's powerful. That is power right there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think it's important just like we can just dive in a little bit on what we're going to talk about, kind of outline some stuff. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Colton.
Next week we're gonna talk about our why a little bit more. But just kind of like running into like this week's show, we really just wanted to kind of just go over like who we are, what this podcast is gonna be about, what we want to accomplish, and all that sort of stuff. We want to build a community of like empowered people,
Yeah.
ranging anywhere from as young
10
as young as
ten-
they
yeah,
want to be,
whoever.
Yeah.
as young as it is to as old as it is.
Yeah.
Because personally, like I've seen how this company has affected me and changed my life, and it's like it is a company, but it's also it's more than a company, right?
Yeah.
It's just like literally it's like a way of life.
It's an incubator.
Yeah, and I've like it's literally changed my life. No BS, it has. And
Yeah.
I think
And-
these guys
yeah.
agree.
We've
you know?
heard,
For
you know,
sure.
same for me, but we've heard like, this guy's story, and we can vouch. We don't have to get into it, at least not today.
Yeah,
but
maybe down the road a little bit.
But
so.
he is a different human being, you know, and it's incredible to see. And pretty much everyone in this company is the same way. But I mean, enough just getting into like our company. What we're trying to do on this podcast, though, is we're just trying to create a community, kind of like what Colton said, and we're going to create a community around, you know, strong-headed people who know personal growth, personal development, integrity, time management, context, you know, your bigger why, you know, life philosophies, and also we'll just have the occasional like messing around.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not going to be,
hardships.
like we really want this to just be like just three average guys, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, any better than anybody else.
Yeah.
We just want it to be a fun time where people can actually, you know, learn something and feel comfortable and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, we have big plans for sure. Like we want to have some really powerful people joining us on this show, like for sure. Like that's definitely a goal. And like we're trying to line some stuff up for sure right now. We got a couple lined up. And there's definitely a couple more in the works for sure. I'm just like super excited for this journey. Like
more than anything. I mean, like just saying, you know, everybody, especially 20-year-olds, you know, we all get together, you know, maybe have a couple drinks, and then, you know, a good idea gets thrown around and you never really act upon it, you know, but we acted upon our idea, and so now we are, you know. And
I remember
Go ahead.
All right, I remember telling Brad and CJ in the elevator, like I've talked about doing stuff like this in the past, but it's just really just been
talk.
It's just been BS coming out of my mouth.
Yep.
And like it feels like so good to finally like act on something now, and like really not even care, like not in a rebellious way, but we don't really care what people think, you know, like not in a bad way. Like we want people's opinions, we want constructive criticism, all that sort of stuff, but like if people are being negative, it's not going to affect us because we know why we're doing this. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And who we are as
exactly.
people, you know, like
we know what we're in tune with, you know, and we're still learning through the journey. You know, we're going to be learning with you guys. We're not giving you everything. We don't have it figured out. You'll never have it figured out.
Spoiler alert. Right?
Yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah. If you're not growing, you're falling. But yeah, I mean, we're just doing it because it's our passion. You know, what we did the second we talked about wanting to do a podcast, we hopped on Amazon and dropped a band on some equipment and got to work.
Stuff wasn't cheap, guys.
Yeah, look at this. But yeah, and I just remember I've always been thinking about a podcast. I've always wanted to do it, probably for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And, you know, I started to do it one time, but I just didn't have the right tools at that time. You know, it was 3 years ago before I really knew exactly what my passion was. And, you know, I didn't have a lot of knowledge in this company yet. But once they took me under their wing and I started taking personal growth and development in my own hands, you know, then I flourished and I met these guys and destiny happened and now we're here.
And I think one of the differences too for us is just, you know, like some of these big guys, like we mentioned Gary Vee earlier, like
Tony Robbins.
Great guy. Yeah. Tony Robbins, all these guys who are, you know, so in tune with themselves, and they're more on like the big picture side, you know, and they give you like these big pictures in your mind, but like we're here, you know, the day-to-day stuff is like what nobody wants to talk about, you know, like the hard stuff every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we really have some tools for people to like help them out, you know, like, you know, I mean, we've been doing it for 4 years, a year now, you know, 4 months, but like everybody's on that journey and we just have those tools to, you know, help people out our age that need it, you know?
Yeah. And to touch base on like what he said, those guys, like they are amazing at what they do. And like it's like crazy motivational stuff when you listen to like an episode on YouTube of them.
Oh, it makes you like clean your whole room, like, you know, like get you up out of bed.
I'm on a high for like 30 minutes at least.
For sure.
But yeah, like he said, it can kind of get overwhelming when you're like, all right, well, like how do I implement this stuff in my life? Like how do I start doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
Because I mean, they just don't have the time to really go into detail with all that stuff. So we kind of want to bridge that gap and just kind of be the connection between both sides, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. I mean, we definitely have the tools to just do day-to-day stuff. And that's the most important. Most people don't want to talk about that because they want to just fill your head with big ideas and crazy crazy thoughts and stuff, and that's fine. It works at
Rented
times.
out cars,
Yeah.
like these guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
Renting out Ferraris for videos, like we're not that guy.
Yeah, and it might work for some people, and that's fine. But if you're trying to get to a place after the nostalgia runs out, after you just are on this high, you have to get to work. There's business to be done, business to be had, and that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think especially in this day and age, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, they don't want to pay attention and do like the nitty gritty stuff. They just want to do the flashy, popular thing.
Yep.
But like you can't just go from here to up here.
Yeah.
Flashy and popular stuff. There's
Exactly.
this much stuff in between all that that's 10 times more important.
Exactly.
And you have to know all that stuff in order to succeed, and it's definitely tough shit. Like,
Yeah, it is.
we go through stuff like every day.
Every day.
Yeah, keeping and maintaining a high level of integrity is difficult,
Yeah,
Very
But-
difficult.
very difficult.
but incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
So what Colton mentioned a little bit earlier about, like you want to get here and you're here. It's just like anything else. It's like a foundation has to be built. It's like a house, like a pyramid, whatever. You can't just jump there. You have to lay that foundation of like, values, integrity, peace of mind, context, whatever it is that you like figure out. Those are just some words that we've used and you'll hear us use a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's just things to be accomplished before you can just jump to a point.
Yeah.
And that's what most people think. Most people think I can just wake up one day, come out of bed, and just, I'm going to start a company, and in a week it's going to be a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've like listened to like some motivational stuff on YouTube, especially like years ago.
And just
Before
like,
I,
oh man,
oh yeah, like tomorrow I'm waking up and it's on. Like
It's on.
yeah,
it's game over. Like, and then
20
wake
mil
up.
in the bank next
yeah,
week.
and then a day later, some shit pops up.
Fortnite.
And Fortnite. Yeah, Xbox is sitting there. I'm like, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
People hit me up. Hey, let's play some Fort. I'm like, all right, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down to catch a dub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's just like, it's tough, like, because especially when you see these people on Instagram, and we live in a social media world, and you see all these people flashing the cars, having the hot girls in the video, like, like you're naturally attracted to be like, damn, like I want that life.
I want that life. Yeah.
And the thing is not only is it fake, but that's just unrealistic,
Yeah.
And
some people can live through that, like Dan Blazarian.
oh yeah, that guy's a legend. Like,
He's
I
a
have nothing
legend.
to say bad about that
and
guy.
not many
He's a
people can
legend.
do that, so he's a legend at doing that.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. But I mean,
It's just
and that's not everybody's life, though. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
certain people, maybe that's their life,
Yeah.
and that's what they can do. But
When
everybody is different. you
right,
know?
and I think that's why, especially nowadays, like we're seeing such like a spike in like depression and unfortunately suicides and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
people are constantly comparing themselves to other people.
yeah.
Like people just post a picture online and people are like, well, look
I
at
wish
my
that was
life.
me, yeah.
Like
And I mean, I can catch myself doing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
post a picture
Oh,
on
yeah.
Instagram.
Me too.
I'm
Absolutely.
checking my likes like every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, am I gonna get 100? Am I gonna get
Yeah.
200? Like,
yeah,
it's just
and
kind of crazy.
I think that's something that we're all trying to definitely like get away from in a sense, because like like you post a picture on Instagram, you want it to get as many likes as possible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that literally has no effect on anything in your life whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like it's pointless.
yeah.
It's silly to even worry about. But
Yeah.
we do, and like we all worry about it. I worry about it. I post a picture online like of a sick picture that I think is a sick picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this better get, 2 million likes, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
But yeah, and I'm constantly checking it, like he said, and it's really silly to even worry about because it has no effect on your life whatsoever.
At all.
Yeah. No power over you. Well, that's not true. It does. It does hold power over you, but it should not.
It
It
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
Right.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's still gonna be there, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media is what it is. Like, there's
Yeah.
a reason why we're all so addicted to it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, like there shouldn't be power there. There is, but just way too much.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think saying having no power is like what I want either on social media. because social media is a powerful platform, right? Like it's
Yeah.
great for advertising, for marketing. It's great for getting your word out there. You know, getting yourself, all your image, whatever it is.
I mean,
But-
they're gonna probably see this on social media.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I guarantee.
I
it.
mean, that's the way to spread your message and your word
Yeah.
in this day and age, and it's absolutely critical and important.
Yes.
But you have to make sure you're not giving like complete control to social media in your life.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a tool, but like don't abuse the
right?
tool.
It's
you
a
know what I'm saying?
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like anything in life. You have to take it with some moderation. You know,
Yeah.
if you're on social media for 5 hours a day, or your screen time is like 5 hours a day, then like that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's quite literally a drug at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And we're getting to the point where I mean, it is a drug for most people. And
Yeah.
I can say personally, I've had moments where I'm like I'll have waves where I'm just on social media for like a long time,
Right.
just fucking checking it out all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and, yeah, you're always like wondering, what's this person up to?
Yeah.
What, you know?
And I mean, the crazy part is it's just a screenshot. It's not even like, you know, they're probably sitting at home watching Netflix, you
Yeah,
know, with their
literally.
dog. But you see them in Vegas, you know, doing whatever. You're like, damn, you know,
Yeah.
I want that life. But really, you know, they're not even there anymore.
And
you know?
there's that new documentary out on Netflix. It's called Social Animals.
Never heard of
Yeah, you should definitely watch it. It's
it. Shout out Netflix endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that money at? Yeah, it kind of goes into that a little bit more in detail. It takes
Okay.
like I think it's like 3 or 4 people, and they have like a crazy amount of Instagram followers and stuff. But really, like, it's just kind of like a deeper dive into their life, and it's more than just a picture. Like, there's this one girl on there. She's got like, I don't know, like 500,000 followers, I think.
Oh, and she's like 12, right?
Yeah.
I think you were talking about this.
Yeah, she's definitely really young. But like, she's like, I think people look at me as like this like goddess and like this, you know, higher power kind of thing, just because she has 600,000 followers.
Yeah.
And it's just like kind of sad at times to see like people giving so much power to all that kind of stuff and not being happy with their own lives. Like, you know, your life is what you make it. You can be just as powerful as any of those other people.
Exactly.
So
Everybody's on an even playing field.
yeah.
You know, no one's better than anybody. I'm not better than you. We're not better than anyone else in this company or this world.
Yep.
It's
Like, yeah, it's just, I mean, that's human race, you know, like I mean, we could eliminate pretty much every war from history, you know,
Yeah.
if everybody could just understand that. But, you know, it's hard, you know, politics are
Very.
hard, everything of that is hard, war is hard, but like, you know, at the end of the day, everybody's a human, you know, and like, you just welcome all of it, you know, and I just, you know, that's just my take on that. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, maybe we should just, you know, go over like our goals for the podcast, kind of see
Our vision?
Yeah, our vision, kind of where we want to take this, let them know, and then yeah.
all right. Yeah. I mean, so as far as like my vision goes, I basically just want to build this like eventually a brand, you know, like a lifestyle that's associated with good times, good talks, and personal development, you know, kind of like what we talked about.
Yeah.
And I just think like that's a good vision to have, and we want to build something that isn't just a podcast. We want to build a community of hardworking, or, you know, I mean just hardworking, empowered,
Yeah.
you know, people who really just
People full of integrity.
yeah, exactly. You know, people who just take the tools that we've given you guys and actually apply it to your life. And even if not, that's fine, as long as you know, support our community, then that's, you know, then you're always welcome. You know, as long as you support the vision and the process.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I want to create. And also from that, we want to build like a name to be out there. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, eventually probably going to do something with like t-shirts, because if people are seeing like our word and like our brand out there, and they actually just know we're associated with like a good atmosphere, you know, that could possibly help some big stuff happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a big vision.
Definitely.
And
Definitely big goals for it.
yeah.
Yeah. I really want to get some t-shirts like right now.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah,
Let's
we
go watch
want-
a Tony Robbins.
we want Roaring 20s to be like, honestly, like our end goal is like a household name.
Yeah.
I think the crazy part about even the name, just Roaring 20s, like it's about to be 2020, you know? So like,
Yeah.
we're going to that spin of just like,
Yeah.
you know.
I guess we should probably kind of touch base on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
For a minute
Yeah.
or two.
Yeah.
Just
I'd say so.
why it's called Roaring 20s.
Yeah. The reason why I think, you know, I thought Roaring 20s was a good name because we're three individuals who are in our 20s. That's one of it. And the 1920s was just a kick-ass time. You know, it was
the first part for sure.
Yeah.
The second part got, you know,
a little dicey.
a little bad.
But
yeah.
But just everyone thinks of the Roaring 20s as just like a big boom in, you know, the community, in just pretty much everything, right? And mainly in North America, but it did boom across like the entire world just because North America is like a big part of it. So I just kind of had like this thought or this vision of like, you know, why don't we actually do a podcast based around big moves, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what we're doing here is we're having big moves. And
we're in our 20s. You know,
exactly.
like,
And we're in our 20s. We're about to hit 2020. It's kind of like everything's, you know, coming around to kind of seem like a perfect storm.
yep,
So
it all lined up.
yeah, might be something with like destiny, or it could just be like a cool name we thought.
Yeah.
No, and on Google it says, you know, the Roaring 20s refers to the decade of 1920s in Western society and Western culture. It was a period of economic prosperity with a distinctive cultural edge.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. It's like when we sat down and kind of talked about what do we want from this, we want to create a cultural edge. And so that's, you know.
Yeah. That's pretty much, you know, exactly what, when we heard Roaring 20s and looked at the definition of what happened in 1920, the Roaring 20s, we were like, wow, that fits perfectly.
Yeah. Yep.
We want to help give people this cultural edge, you know? There is a lack or a disconnect of people just being in tune with themselves. Not even like a why or personal growth or development, whatever it is, just themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
And like it goes back to the whole social media thing, which we've talked about I think enough. But yeah, it's I think it's getting worse and worse. And
yeah.
It's just everything. Like, you know, people like put on like 6 faces when they wake up in the morning, you know, like, and they're scared.
Which lens am I going to look through today?
Yeah. Which lens am I going to look through today? You know, and I just think that there's maybe not scared, but maybe just not comfortable with like who they are as people, or they're struggling. They had, you know, somebody tell them that they weren't this when they really wanted to be that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like whatever it was for them. But, you know, it's just important that people get out of their shell, and that's what we want to bring to this, is because like we all know, like you've been out of your shell, you know, in the last 4 months. You've been out of your shell. I've definitely been out of my shell, you know, and I've seen the other side, and I just, you know, that's why we're all passionate about this, is because, you know, we've seen the other side, we know how it is on that other side, you know.
And like he said, me personally, like, I'm not going to go into it in like too much detail today, at least, but yeah, I've been at rock bottom.
Yeah.
I've been there. And like, I think everybody, at least once in their life, whether you've experienced it yet or not, you know, I don't know.
You're going to hit it.
It's just bound to happen. Like everybody has, I don't know of anybody that hasn't had a rock bottom moment. It's just literally part of life. There's nothing, it's going to happen. You know?
It's a learning lesson. It's kind of just like life kicking you in the ass, because it's just a wake up call. You've been, your luck runs out. You know, you're doing the same thing forever, or whatever the circumstances are. You know, just life has a tendency to kind of mess with people.
Yeah. And then when you're down, it just beats the shit out
of
you.
Yeah,
when you're down,
exactly. It doesn't care. Life will roll over you and spit you out.
Doesn't care. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure at times, you know, I've experienced it. It just feels like you can't catch a break, and like you're just screwed. Like life is out to get you.
Yep.
And when you're down, it keeps, like Brad said, it just keeps hitting
keeps
you
kicking.
Keeps hitting you in the face. And there's 2 options. Like you can either just keep going down that hole and
eventually die or go to jail, basically.
Yeah, depending on what your circumstance is, or you can, you know, fight back, like literally, and make something of yourself and let that be your motivating factor, you know.
Yeah.
Like personally, I think about, you know, kind of where I was at, like literally, let's see, 6 months ago, and like I could have just kept going straight downhill, and I I think it's pretty safe to say like I wouldn't be here right now if I wouldn't have kind of realized one day like, hey, like you gotta wake up.
Yeah.
And I definitely have had a lot of people help me along the way, but
But it's always been you, right? Like
Right,
you've
to-
always had the power the whole
right,
time.
you have to
right?
like you have to make the choice. Like
Yeah.
no one. It's like that saying, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves.
Yep.
Like if you want to change your life, you can't
Yeah.
just talk about it. You got to take massive action.
Yeah.
Like you really do. Like there's no other option to it. Like you have to change. Or you have to want to change in order
Yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
Someone else can't change for you. And there's so many tools and resources and people that can help you out along the way.
Yeah.
But you just have to understand that it starts with you.
Yeah, and it's a choice. Like you said, it's a choice. And you can touch more on this too, but like, we choose to wake up in the morning and go about our day a certain way because that's what we're committed to now, you know? And for the longest time for me, I was committed to the partying lifestyle, getting drunk with the boys all the time, just doing all that sort of stuff. And, when you come around and you just like, that's not who I want to be anymore. You make that choice.
Right.
Take a bunch of action, like you said, towards the next thing. And, that's how you make little changes over time. And then you look back 6 months ago, you're like, damn, I'm a different person now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you just got to trust the process, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
But once you like, I don't know, it's once you really just start to take action with that and really just get it in your head, like, I'm done. It just becomes like something that you do almost. You don't even have to think about it. Like if you really want it bad enough, it's just something that you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least like from my experiences, like I don't know, it's just something clicked one day and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done being a jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the past behind me.
Yeah. And you can't, that's the other thing too, is you gotta learn from the past, and definitely I believe that you should not hold on to your past, but you should definitely keep it close to you because that has literally helped shape who you are.
Yeah.
As long as you are using it in the right way. You can't let it bring you down. And I think we're all still working on that from past stuff in our lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You always will.
Always
But I
will.
think that's something that really affects people across the entire world is they hold on to their past, and a lot of it's by their doing, but also a lot of it is just
circumstances,
Yeah.
I mean, something happened when they were little.
and subconscious.
And the subconscious mind takes
Yeah.
over, and like you just can't get out of that, and you live your whole life that way, And I mean, you touch on that because that's all about who you are,
Yeah.
like all about that.
Yeah, I mean, just when it comes down, a little bit earlier, what Brad mentioned, when you wake up, you can decide how you want your day to go. It's as simple as creating a context. So, not to get too deep into neuroscience, but just quickly, what happens is your mind creates what's called a default context, right? So, based on past experiences, everything that's happened in your life, your mind will create what's called a default context. All right, yeah. So, basically, to just touch off where I was.
Yeah, we share this office space, so things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, but yeah. So like your mind creates just what's called a default context based on past experiences, your entire life, what's happened in a certain circumstance. Your brain just has patterns. That's how neurons work. There's pathways, right? So, based on what's gonna happen, your mind takes a context of what happened last time, and it creates what's called a default context. And your brain creates that 10 seconds before you even make an action, up to 10 seconds. And neuroscience tells us that without a context, your life literally does not make sense. So your brain has to make one. Neuroscience, luckily, also tells us that you can create a context. And what you can do when you create a context is that is what's going to have a little bit of effect into like what's your guiding light, what's your North Star. Because if my context in the morning is, wow, I do not want to go to work today. Your whole day, you're going to look through that lens of work sucks. I hate work. I don't want to go to work. But if you create a context of, and it sounds like woo-woo, just like, oh, just, just think differently and it'll have an outcome. But it's real shit, and we'll get into an actual episode where we just talk about context. But if you create a context of like, wow, I'm going to have a great day because, one, I say so, and two, because I am going to work so I can, whether it's like provide for my family or, get out of this job, move to a bigger one, or maybe you love the job, like it's a good paying job and you're just like, I'm doing this because I'm trying to create like an empire. I'm trying to build a foundation, so like a framework, so that in 5 years I can retire by age 45, and go live my life peacefully wherever I want to, because I have worked today and every other day incredibly hard because I'm passionate about like my why, and that's the context you can create.
And that's what we're going to get into next episode. Like that's one of the most important things, is just having that bigger why, whether
Exactly.
it's your kids, your family, or, you do want the Maserati, or, whatever that has to be is different for everybody, but like, I mean, we'll touch base on that next week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I think that's a pretty good start here today. We kind of touch base on just kind of the basics here.
Yeah.
Kind of dive deep into a couple things, but I think it's definitely a good start. So, I hope you guys, those of you who watched it, enjoyed today's episode, got something, useful out of it. Next week we're gonna talk a little bit more about our why, and kind of help people maybe start to create their why and that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Well, I'll leave you with an interesting fact, I guess, for today, because today is Cinco de Mayo while
For
we're
us.
recording this.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are gonna watch this, it's not gonna be Cinco de Mayo anymore,
We should
unfortunately.
have had like sombreros and stuff.
We
on.
should-
That'd
yeah,
have
we
been
should have.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta hire an interior decorator. But an interesting fact is Cinco de Mayo started in 1862. It's definitely a long tradition of a good time for
that's
sure.
almost 200 years. What did you say? 1862?
1862.
Oh,
so
sh-
not
That's
quite.
like- like 140.
157 years, something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not good at math, right? Just personal
Hey.
development.
Yeah.
Big personal
sure.
development guy.
Yeah, big personal
All right.
development.
Well, any last words, boys?
No, we're just excited, excited for the journey and excited for, what happens next. And, I think the most important thing is just we're learning too,
Yeah.
we're not perfect. And, this is going to help us as well, just be better people and develop ourselves even more as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I just want to, thank you guys for watching, if you're watching, and, just, excited to do this journey with you guys and see what gets created out of it, and, just excited for the next steps.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
All right, guys. Well, go kill it out there, and have a good week.
we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Keep it roaring.